NA1SS, NA1SS. This is N9CHA at the Gail Borden Public Library in Elgin. Over.
NA1SS, copies, over.
Okay, Clay, very good. Here's our first question.
Hello, Clay. My name is Sean. When do you anticipate the first kid going into space? Over.
That's a great question, Sean. I hope it's you, and I hope it's within the next 15 to 20 years, buddy. Over.
In 2007, the Gail Borden Public Library went to a place where no other library has gone before, the International Space Station. Young people in the Gail Borden Public Library spoke to NASA astronaut Clay Anderson aboard the International Space Station as part of the Space Dare to Dream project.
Hi, I'm Carol Metal, Executive Director of the Gail Borden Public Library in Elgin, Illinois. And this summer, we hosted Space Dare to Dream, a magnificent exhibit that told the story of space travel. We hosted this exhibit in order to attract more people to the library, new people to the library, to provide an engaging, exciting visual exhibit that would stir the imagination and promote reading. Well, we believe that an exhibit such as this can foster and promote literacy. And we certainly did prove that because we had increased numbers in our summer reading program and also in the circulation of materials, and specifically in areas that were related to the exhibit, such as space exploration, astronomy, and science fiction.
The space exhibit brought in our students in droves. We had more students reading this summer than we've ever had before. So these experimental projects that Gail Borden has tried over and over again are so effective on our students.
One of my favorite parts was the area where they had the space, the lunar rock, and the tire for a lunar module.
My favorite place was this little, well, not exactly little, kind of big stand where you press a button trying to get your rocket to launch to the moon and land on it successfully. That was my favorite part. It took me 1 or 2 tries to get it to work, but in the end I was able to get it every time.
Well, I probably spent most of my time around the Saturn V, because, you know, checking out reserved books and stuff like that. But I went there a couple of times, and the rumbling thing on the wall was really weird. Extremely good exhibit. Extremely good exhibit.
We saw the highest number of children register for our youth summer reading program than we have seen before. Also, we had record numbers of materials being checked out. We also saw an all-time high of visitors to the library. We had major increases in hits to our website, as well as over 6,000 library card registrations. When the library hosts an exhibit such as Space Dare to Dream, partnerships are very important, and we initiated many new partnerships and a whole new avenue for us in the astronomy and space arena, such as with the Adler Planetarium and Fermilab and NASA.
Well, as you know, this is the second sponsorship that we've provided to the library. I think the community overall got to experience the library in so many new and different ways. So many folks who normally wouldn't, you know, walk through the doors of the library were encouraged to come and participate in special programming and activities in connection with Giants. You know, we saw space as another opportunity to really engage the community in new and interesting ways.
By using the technology that people are using, they see that the library is with it. We use the technology because it's available, it's there, and it attracts attention. It makes the library shine. Dr. Janice Voss, the NASA astronaut who visited us this year and had been in the space 5 times, told us that books were at the foundation of her interest in astronomy and space exploration. So that was quite exciting to find out.
My first interest in that came from reading the book A Wrinkle in Time by Madeline L'Engle. I was on vacation with my family in Indiana, and we stopped by the public library to check out books I'd been reading since I was preschool. And I happened to pick this book up. I was so fascinated by it that when I got back from vacation, I checked out the entire science fiction section of the library back in my hometown. I've been reading science fiction ever since, still do.
I think the children and adults that heard Dr. Voss speak were very much inspired by her story, and I am sure that it encouraged them to read and to dream their own dreams of space exploration or whatever it might be.
I think that's a great way to continue to have libraries be a focus for public interest and a resource for all kinds of things. It's not just about reading. Reading is really a way to get information. And this is another way to transmit information that really inspires people to think of information as fun. And I think that's really great.
Astronaut Clay Anderson, who was on the International Space Station and spoke to many children as well as adults while he was 200 miles above the library, also spoke about the importance of reading and told us what his favorite book was. And again, that inspires the youth on how important reading is.
When I walked up there on stage and was just about to speak into the microphone, I was going, okay, I'm just speaking to a microphone, everything's okay. Except in that second I realized that I was about to talk to someone about 200 miles up there. It was pretty amazing. I'm glad I had my slip of paper in my hand. I completely forgot it at that one moment.
I asked Clay what or when the first kid would go into space and what they were doing in space that would have impact here on Earth. Well, he answered it would be maybe 15 or 20 years, but he said he hoped I'd be the first to go.
Of course, we were all extremely excited about it, and of course I told everyone that I knew about it. Very exciting for everyone, including friends and family that we have across the country. We do have godparents of my sons in North Carolina who were logged on to the internet and watching the space station contact live as well.
The live feed from the space station with astronaut Clay Anderson, thousands of people around the world got to experience that through the live web feed, in addition to hundreds of folks here in the community. And so all of those interesting, exciting, imaginative ways that the library takes an idea and just runs with it really makes these kinds of partnerships so much more fun and interesting.
It was cool to just sit down in a chair and look in the background and see the entire exhibit and know that, well, that's something for you to explore, that's something for you to find out about.
I think the library is the gathering place for this community. This summer we had a conference and one of the speakers was at the hotel out on Randall Road. And she asked the concierge, she says, I've got a few hours to spare, what would you suggest I do? And he said, you should go to the library. And she came to me later that evening at dinner and said, you know, someone needs to talk, the Visitors Bureau needs to talk to folks at the hotel because they're sending people to the library. And I said, oh, you haven't seen our library. I will take you there after dinner because it is the place to be. He didn't tell her to go to the casino. He didn't tell her to go to a bar downtown. He told her to go to the library. And I think that speaks volumes about the pride and, you know, the excitement that regular folks in the community have and their connection and ownership of this institution and how important it is to the community.
Space Dare to Dream exceeded all of our expectations, with over 306,000 people visiting the library during the 112 days of this exhibit. We certainly demonstrated how a library can expand its role and attract new customers. We broke records in attendance, in circulation of materials, in library card registrations, in website hits, and in sign-up for the Youth Summer Reading Program. Having an exhibit of this nature certainly does raise the bar for what people expect of their Gail Borden Library. Is it worth it? Absolutely. Because it cements the public library as an epicenter of the community, a place where people want to go, a place where people want to learn, and a place where people can dare to dream.